Hello! So, today I've got a bit of a different video for you. I'm going to be doing a review of an absolutely incredible pedal by a mate called Kernom, which I made over in France. And this pedal is called Victory Amps. It is a multi-modulation pedal which mixes both analogue and digital into one sort of platform. So basically the way that works is that you have the pedal which is fully analogue, but then you are able to save presets of your favourite sort of tones, which is what I like to do for when I'm playing on stage. So for this video, I'm literally going to run through a few of the best tones in my opinion and best sounds that you can get out of it. And for the video, I am going to be using my Karl Longbottom S4 into the Victory MKX, and the Elipse is going to be running on the effects loop of the amp, so then I can use some gain at some points so you can hear how it sounds after. And I'm just going to crack on now. And I'm going to start by saying what you heard at the beginning, of course, is a famous riff by a band known as Van Halen, and that was the flanger from the Elipse. So clean, this is how it sounds without the pedal. Flanger engaged. It's like a really sweet sort of warm flanger in my opinion. It's not very harsh on the ear, of course, because I know you can get some flangers where it is screaming at you. But I quite like, of course, I mean you can see the settings that I'm using via the other camera, but it's very like lush and very just sweet sounding, as I said. So I'm going to move now to what I use for my chorus. Which is, again, it's a very warm sounding sort of chorus. I use it for rhythm sounds more than anything. You know, it's quite like thick, and at the same time has that top end on it, so it has that shimmer. It works great with distortion, so if I just turn the pedal off a second, this is the MKX's channel 3. With the pedal engaged. Like I say, it works really well with the gains, because it's not too fat in the low end, but it's not too like high in the top end, of course. So it's got that perfect mix, and it just almost like thickens your sound in a way. So like say if you're playing like rhythm parts, if I switch to the channel 2 of the MKX without the pedal, with the pedal. So if you want to play some just like rhythm, if say you're in a pop song or whatever. Just overall really cool. So now I'm going to change to the harmonic tremolo, which again, I mean, the settings that I'm using are literally a limited variety, which when you actually have the pedal, there's so many different like settings and things that you can do with it. So like, I mean, I'm going to make it into a bit of a faster tremolo now, so you can hear. Turn up the mix a slight bit. It'd help if I actually had the pedal on. So of course it's meant to be a harmonic tremolo, but you also have the shape knob, which basically allows you to change how it sounds. So this is with the shape all the way to the left, so what you class about 7 o'clock. Then if I turn it all the way to the right, and then of course in the middle as well, about 12. It's very versatile in that way with the shape, because instead of just having that one harmonic tremolo, you were able to get that sort of like square wave, triangular wave, you know, all them different styles. Of course, then you've got the depth of control as well. So I've got it again set about 12 o'clock. If I turn it all the way to max, you can hear it's quite choppy, so it's like it's hitting you like that. Whereas if you turn the depth down, just a little less subtle, still very, very visible in your sound. Just very subtle. Again, if I turn that to 12 and turn the mix right up, again, it makes it a little bit more choppier. And once again, you can turn the mix down. Just adding that subtle effect. I mean, if you wanted an example of a song, turn the speed down a slight bit. Just get that speed right. Of course, that isn't exactly right, because it's quite hard just to dial in the tones right on the spot, but you get the idea. So I don't want to spend too long on it, but I will say the tremolo on this pedal is just incredible. It's super, super versatile. So if I move now to the rotary, which straight away when I hear the word rotary, I think of a band known as Pink Floyd and a guitarist known as David Gilmour, one of my biggest inspirations. Again, it's super versatile, the rotary. You can turn up the speed, of course. Or you can also turn it down, add the depth a little bit. And again, if you want a bit of an example, again, as I said before with the tremolo as well, it is quite hard to dial in exact settings, but you get the idea. And like I've said many times, when you have the actual pedal in front of you, the amount of options that you have with all the different knobs and everything and settings, it's insane. So then I want to show you as well, going back to about the tremolo as well. The cool thing with the Elipse is that you have the halfway sort of tones. So basically I can have it set to the harmonic tremolo fully, then if I go to about halfway in between the rotary and the harmonic tremolo, I get a bit of both. Turn it up to the rotary a slight bit more. So you can hear the tremolo where it's almost like cutting the signal slightly. But then you've also got that rotary where it almost brings in like a chorusy sort of sound. It's just really, really sweet. So now I'm going to change to the chorus or vibrato sort of settings. Again, turn down the depth a little bit. So as you can hear there, I've got it sort of set literally edge of vibrato, literally halfway between chorus and vibrato, so you can. And then I turn down the depth and turn up the speed a bit. Great example there, if you know the song. But the chorus, as I said earlier on, it's just really sweet sounding. And I mean, I keep going back to the rhythm thing with it, as I stated earlier in the video. It's just, I don't know, it's got something about it. It's not harsh on the ear at all, and it's just really thickens your tone. And I just really like that, to be fair with you, because dependent on the situation, you know, if you've got a lead part to play, so if I turn on some gain, it sounds great. So it's not really, really high in its tone, but at the same time, it just adds that slight thickness, almost like the mids in it, which I just really, really like. Again, I'm going to change now to the phaser because I have gone over the flanger already. So I'll slow it down a little bit, turn the speed down. It's quite a harsh phaser in my opinion. It's got like quite a push on your signal, so I mean if I play without, my tone from the MKX clean isn't really that clean, it's already slightly broken, but when you turn the phaser on, it really pushes it, and I think it's like a really nice sort of sound in the terms that it can really add to your gain stages as well. So if I turn on channel 2 of the MKX, you can proper hear that swoosh, and it's like, it's not in your face, but at the same time it's heard in your playing, and I think it's just really nice, and it's just an effect that I like to add in, you know, maybe you might playing a solo or something. So if I turn down the mix a little bit and the depth, and I turn up the speed, like I say, I've got that turned quite a bit down, so it's very light on the ear, but at the same time still you can hear it, and I think it just adds, like I say, if you're doing a lot of like fast picking, especially so if I turn down the speed and then add the gain, it just almost adds like another layer to your playing. Again, now going to switch it to the Univibe, which the Univibe in this thing I absolutely love. I think it sounds great. So if I put it out there, speed and depth. So as someone who is a huge Robin Trower fan, I love a Univibe. To be fair, before I got the Elipse, I have never actually had a Univibe pedal. I have tried them, but never actually owned one, just for the simple reason, in my style of playing, I've never really had the need for one. But now I have the Elipse, I'm sort of thinking to myself, why didn't I get one? Because of how cool they sound. It's almost, in my opinion, a Univibe. It's like a phaser with a bit more added bass and thickness to it, which I think is just really cool again. And I mean, I do have this running in the effects loop, so of course if I turn on the gain now, it's going to be quite harsh. So I know typically a lot of guitarists use it so that the Univibe is actually prior to the gain, so for this sort of setup, I probably do have it in the wrong place, in the wrong part of the signal chain, but for the sake of this video, it's what works. But I mean, like I say, when you put it behind the gain, of course, in your signal chain, so like if you've got it on the pedal board, it sounds super cool, that Univibe. It sort of pushes the mids in your gain and almost adds that slight phased swoop into it. I don't know how to explain it properly without showing you. Unfortunately, I can't, but I just think it works really well. Anyway, before I go on, I am going to now show you the swirl knob, which again, in my opinion, is a very cool feature. So if I turn it to, let's say, chorus sort of setting, like a very mellow chorus, and then if I turn up the swirl whilst playing, it's almost got that like sort of vintage push on the sound. So like back in like the 60s, 70s when they were using effects, which I know at the time weren't a massive thing. Of course, I know a lot of guitarists, of course, didn't have a chorus back then in them days, but of course, by using like say old tape machines, messing with the time and stuff, they were able to get this sort of like double layered guitar signal that one was slightly out of tune, but at the same time whilst doing that it almost added like a natural overdrive, which I think the swell does really well. So if I turn it off, on, it almost like has its almost like phaserish, oh my god, I can't even get my words out. Phaser-ish vibe, but at the same time, it's not a phaser. Like I say, it's almost like a broken overdrive that keeps swelling in and out. I mean, if I turn it down a slight bit and I turn up the depth for the chorus, it proper pushes it. I mean, so if I turn down the mix completely of the chorus, so you're just getting a dry signal, and again if I just, that's literally just the swell knob coming in, as you can see on the other camera. And when it's turned up to max, you can hear it's at almost like thickens the sound and adds that broken overdrive, which I think is really cool. It's a feature that I would say isn't very recognised in a way, because of course with modern play and everything, you've got like your plugins, DSPs and stuff. It's not very common anymore, but if you want to go for that sort of vintage tone broken sort of I think it just works really well, and it's just, again, it's just that sort of extra effect into your playing. So I mean, if I add a bit of overdrive, as you can hear, like I said before, it's like a phaser, but at the same time, it's not. Super cool, super cool. So that basically about concludes the main part of the pedal. Like I have stated, of course, earlier, you have the in-between thing with the Elipse, whereas that you can go in between. So if I'm halfway between flanger and chorus, I get a bit of both to help with the mixes up. So it sort of gives you that sort of, like I say, halfway point, and of course you can turn it a bit more towards the flanger, more towards the chorus. But it just allows for a lot of versatility in your playing, because instead of just saying, well, I need to have a chorus, I need to have a flanger, you can say, well, I need both. And of course, in a regular scenario, you would have to have, of course, one pedal, another pedal, say one chorus, one flanger. You want them both, you have to have them both on at once. Whereas with this, you're able to have them both whilst having one pedal. Which I think is just very helpful, of course, in terms of having the extra power supply for, say, another drive pedal. Instead of having to use two power supplies, you're able to just have it all in one box. You know, you've got literally basically every modulation you could ask for in that pedal. Of course, I know there isn't ring mods, but you know, it's awesome. I don't know how much I can say. It is very awesome. It's one of those pedals that if you literally want something that can do everything, like in the modulations like side of things, and you want to be paying a decent amount of money, that is the go-to for me. It does everything. And the other thing I will say, it looks cool. It's got like a modern sort of twist on it, and I do really like how it looks. I and the company themselves, Kernom, they're great guys. I mean, I've seen the stuff for ages. They're awesome. So yeah, if you haven't already checked them out, please go and check them out because they are great guys. And of course, if you do want to check out the pedal, head over to the website. I do know that there's some other music shops around that sell the pedal as well as all the other pedals that they do. But I mean, I think I've sort of said it enough. It's awesome. It does everything you could ask for, and it sounds great. I think that's really all you can ask for in terms of a pedal. But you know, I do want to just mention quickly as well, it isn't just the one pedal, because you can also have the preset, so chorus. 1 second. Preset. You know, works really well. So that about concludes it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know it's been very short and very quick, but I think that's about all I can cover in this small area that I have. So if you do want to check it out, like I say, go to the website, any other music shops as well. I do highly recommend getting one for yourselves if you do want a modulation pedal that can do everything. It's awesome, the company's awesome, and that's about all I can say. So thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Please go and check them out, and if you haven't already, please give me a like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated.